Okay, today is September 2nd. I'm calling it Thursday. Cosmic enemies, toxic cuntards, contact, no approachability, zero approachability. This video is made by Love with Love. Despite its presentation, have your pet spayed or neutered. That could include yourself. This is about secrets, and the hall monitor, and the grass isn't greener on the other side. So, how do I want to articulate this? I live in a place that needs help. And despite the help that it needs, I choose to overlook all of its flaws and highlight my decor. It's like, what the fuck? Okay. Anyway, when people come in here, they compliment me. Now, I have zero friends. I have a 96-year-old friend. You say, why do you tell these weak-ass stories? Because these weak-ass stories of everyday stuff is really a big-ass lesson staring you in the face, okay? And so, like I shared in the last video about Frontier, and then I'm saying after 2.5 years of people dropping the ball, you have to deal with each person's mistake each time, and the problem is never solved. So in the Frontier's case, the person tried to say that I signed up for a web billing, and I don't even have a computer. Okay, I don't even own a computer. Stop it. Okay, this is what I'm getting at. So then you have to deal with liars on top of liars on top of liars. Well, I've had enough. So anyway, my point is this. My daughter said, whom I don't speak to, communication is the key. Also, people say, fake it until you make it. But we have people who are pretending to be adults but are really toddlers inside and do toddler kinds of things. So, for example, I have a tree outside that it's 3 leaves, let it be. Just so you know, 3 leaves, let it be is poison ivy. And so I have poison ivy growing underneath a huge tree outside. And so for those of you who are familiar, realize that the planet is shifting, and so then the sun is not in the same place, and so then the things aren't growing the same way. So, but I've been instructed at the place in which it is that I live not to pull any weeds because I was pulling their heirloom plants and I didn't know the difference. So then now in the front yard, they have hostas, I should say, not me. They have hostas. But recently there was 4 feet of 3 leaves, let it be, growing in front. And so then I haven't been pulling weeds because I didn't want to pull their heirloom plants, okay? And so then I didn't, and then now I decided to get rid of the 4 feet, and I'm not joking, 4 feet high poison ivy leaves growing. And then I put these bricks that a cellar caved in from a flood in 2019, and the debris has been sitting there. So I called it the rock pile. I dig at the rock pile. I took some rocks and put them and made it a border. And then I asked the lady across the street if I could buy some mulch from her because she has a big yard project going on. And I put it underneath the tree where there is just dirt and poison ivy growing. And now there's some pavers in the back that had been sitting there for 3 years, but now someone shared with me they cost about $1. After investigation, that was $1.50. You say, what is the point, lady? The point is that the man who owns the place wants to come and remove the items on 9/11 if I don't. And I have gotten only compliments. Now, I shared with you that I am being forced to be a necromancy person, i.e. getting future visions from God directly, I shall say, because I don't deal with cards and I don't deal with middlemen. So I get my information straight from the source. It's like we connected at the hip. If he wants it, but doesn't mean that he likes my presentation style, hence my despite the presentation style, it's presented with love. Okay, so despite that, he might not agree with my presentation style, but my methods do eventually work. So then they have to concede that my style does have some kind of impact despite my low view rating that boob tube shows the layman eye, okay, but it's really high, way higher than that, okay. No, but the number I show, 41, 40, 42, 43, it doesn't depict the actual amount of viewing that really happens, okay, just for the layman person out there. But anyway, I digress. So I say practice makes perfect last time, which it is that you want to fake it until you make it, but we got a bunch of toddlers pretending to be adults. So now, isn't there enough shit in the world? Now this asshole wants to come and fuck with me and say he wants to remove some shit, and I got black mold, a ceiling in the bathroom that's about to cave in on my head, and every time I shower I look up just frickin' in case, okay? Don't close your eye, don't drop the soap, get soap on the rope, all that shit, okay? It applies, all right? And then he wants to rip up something and remove something and wants me to bring bricks back to a pile, a rubber pile that has been sitting there since 2019, okay? Do not people have anything better to fucking do than to micromanage some other motherfucker, but they can't even micromanage? Hello, indirect, passive aggressive. See how all these coined phrases that people love to label themselves with really come into play? So I got a secret. He told me to clean that shit out by 9/11. I've been saying shit's been gonna hit the fan. I need to have the geriatric squad, i.e. all the Owl Council, the Mesoldic Order, the Galactic Federation, the United Federation of Planetary Society, any half-assed good person that I've tagged directly by name in the state of Minnesota, in all of the states, in all of the nations, in all of the countries. Hence the reason why I'm banned from Twitter, banned from Facebook, banned from Instagram, and well, hence the reason why I say this video is made with love, by love, despite its presentation. Okay, I'm not going to spoon feed anybody any more information. I'm not going to quote another Bible verse to prove that I'm of God, with God, on God's team, team truth. Okay, expose liars, all right, to the nth degree. So seeing that people want to follow with private affairs, bedroom affairs first, and stuff that's supposed to be confidential, okay, and supposed to be kept to yourself, I got a secret. Okay, so what is exactly a secret? A secret is something that somebody gets from somebody else that they want to tell, or some fucked up thing that they did and they can't handle it themselves and they want somebody else to share in that fucked up experience with them when they weren't there, didn't ask them to be there, don't want to know, and didn't ask to know their secret. And then when somebody tells somebody else a secret, they say, don't tell the secret. Then that person takes that secret and then they blackmail that person. And then they encourage the other person to partake in some other fucked up activity. So then they have now somebody else to take down with them when the shit is exposed, okay? Like Freemasons at the higher ranking who fuck dead people and fuck animals and take their organs, sell their organs. But people don't seem to care about this because their emergency is not my emergency. What's right for you is not right for me. So let me just say this. The girl next door's kid ran away. The police came. This was at 10. They got here at 1:30. I guess it wasn't an emergency for them. The town we live in, 700 people. It's not that big. You can't fuck it up. You know, you don't, it's like they drive by and do other shit, so then you couldn't figure it out. You get it? So then it's like, she taught me a valuable lesson, and it had to do with laundry. I only had $40. I'm limited, but I was kind, she was kind to say she would do my laundry. And so then I gave her my $40, but then she half-assed it. And so then communication, back to communication is the key, got broke down, which is very easily done because people pretend to be adults, but they're really toddlers in disguise, okay? They look grown up, but they're really toddlers inside. And so then the communication broke down and we got in an argument, and then she said, your emergency is not my emergency. Well, you know what? She's right. But then I took it even further because I'm in hermit mode, as they say, isolation. So then the guy who lives here said to me, he wanted me to be a tattler on her so then they could evict her because she's behind in her rent. All right. And then his a dead carcass for the last 2 years up in some crawl space, not an emergency. A flood in 2019, literally, that concaved part of the cellar space, not an emergency. Electricity, not an emergency. But if their bill, an anomaly, they call it, is askew, it's an emergency for them. But anything else, not an emergency. 5 people fell in the front yard, including myself. I have a back issue. I'm handicapped, so they say. And I mean, physically, and PTSD, yes, okay. And from the trauma that other people caused, yes. So at any rate, 5 people had fallen. And so I've asked 17 times, this will be, for a gutter, and no gutter. I asked just recently, so you'll put it, he goes, well, you're not hardly going to fall down now. I'll be retired in September. And so then I've asked now for 2 years for a gutter, no gutter, and the ceiling falling down in the bathroom. He looked at it just a short time ago and looked in. I'm stepping on plaster and whatnot. The backdrop of it is poking out, and it might have blood based paint on it, and he says, it's not any worse. And clearly he's a contractor, that's what his job. Oh, and a pastor. Did I say a pastor? Oh yes, they are a pastor, religious, and he wants to be a landlord and says he's a Christian. Oh, can you hear me now, people? Religion fake, spiritualists fake, con artists, con people. Everybody's in it to win it. This is the story of everyday life. Everyday life. So who's the hall monitor in your life? That's the question. And whose secrets are you keeping? It's time to let the secrets out of the box. It might be your coochie box that has cobwebs in it from keeping all the secrets, because the skeletons are about to come out of the box, and there will be massive attacks in the 3D. We're not smarter than third graders, i.e., or fifth graders, because we're adults pretending. We're pretending. We're not adults. You're all kids inside adult bodies. And then we got kids giving supposed adult messages and are unable to even play telephone from one person to the other without fucking it up. On that note, have a great day. Just figure out who the hall monitor is in your yard, in your house, in your community. And here, what's really should happen is everybody should get together and support me, and that's what's about to happen. Here's the 411 on the 911 in 2021.